shot at a time.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Enjoy the Walk podcast. This is Dante and Dalton here speaking at you. Isaiah, unfortunately, in his travels up to Liberty University to say hello to the old stomping grounds, could not join us this week. But Dante, how's it going, man? You enjoy the show that the PGA Tour gave us this week at the WGC?
Yeah, it was pretty sick. It seemed like it was, you saw Rory. I mean, hey, my guy didn't get cut this week, so that's a win in my book. But
Your streak ended. Your curse is over for right now.
I'm not a hex.
I'm happy for you. I'm really happy for you. I thought your season was going to be dismal. I thought anyone you picked was going to be cursed. I'm happy for you.
I picked Rory because obviously he battled with DJ last year, wanted to get it done. His game is just insane right now, and if he got destroyed, there wasn't a cut though, right? This week there wasn't a cut.
That's a fantastic question. I'm not 100% sure of that answer.
I don't think there was a cut, so I got away with that one. But if there was and he got cut, I was calling a hex. I had a hex. I had a curse. You name it. It was just whatever. But it was a good tournament to see. I caught bits and pieces of it when I could. But it seemed like the leaderboard kept changing day to day.
I think that's the beauty about this course. And I think they moved it here maybe 3 or 4 years ago from a different venue. And this venue has not, disappointed as far as it seems like every year this place comes down to the stretch. And there's somebody scrambling from somewhere. It's a really tight course. So the minute you lose a ball a little to the right or a little to the left, you're in kind of a jailhouse. And I love seeing guys hit these little, like JT hit a left-handed little cutter punch shot from out of the trees. He went on to make double, but still these guys are having to get creative because this course is so challenging and tough. So just from a TV perspective, I thought it was fun to watch for a change. I mean, these guys were just battling out there, constant lead changes, guys sniffing course records on Saturday with Rahm. How about Rahm's hole-in-one on 17 on a third day?
Stoked.
I've never seen anyone so excited, especially from like a Rahm perspective. Usually, I mean, he's a fiery guy. Everyone knows he's highly emotional. But I thought he was going to just throw his caddy into the water. He was so excited.
That was a one hop and in too, right?
A one and done, man.
Yeah, that was
impressive. That was fun to watch.
Those are weird though when you watch them because it just messes with your eye because the ball just is up and then it just sinks.
You're expecting to see that second bounce. Yep, you're expecting to see it, and then all of a sudden,
roll and it just. Yep.
It brings me back to the question though. That one hopper went in. How did Tigers? I'm still hungover on this. How did Tigers not go in at Torrey Pines when he one hopped it? I need a scientific explanation from that, man. I really do.
I just think it's just the golf gods that said, nah.
Not today. Not
just messing with you.
Today.
Yeah. But, oh, man.
Nah, man. It was fun to watch this weekend. Like we said, Rahm getting out there and just blitzing the field on Saturday. Course record 61. Rory sniffing at it pretty much the whole time. But I think the story of the week, other than our man Patrick Reed taking home another WGC, which we'll get to here in a moment, I want to talk about Justin Thomas. This is his third time at a WGC where he's had a 54-hole lead and blown it down the stretch. I don't know whether it's Mexico that's got into JT's head or if it's just a coincidence because everyone knows he can close. We've seen him close before on multiple occasions. What do you think it is about the Mexico maybe hex that it is with JT and 54-hole leads?
Maybe the elevation. Like you were saying earlier, it was cool to see how those guys had their strategies around the course. And I mean, these guys hit it far enough as it is. So when you're 7,000 feet in the air, and they even said it, they went from like a couple 100 feet to 300 feet. And then next thing up, you're going nearly 8,000 feet in elevation, and you just have to on the fly. I mean, granted, they get there well before the tournament so they can get a feel for their shots. But, when you're playing at close or below sea level majority of the time. And then you just have to jump up near 8,000, up to 7,000 plus more feet in the air to where you have to just.
It's nuts,
Oh
man.
yeah, my pitching wedge is gonna go like $170.
It's
That's
crazy,
a
and to see
lot of
some of the
math
yardage
there.
these guys were hitting this weekend was absolutely absurd. Rory, I think, landed it onto a 475-yard par four, something like that. But the guys in the studio actually did a good job of recognizing, hey, we're at this much altitude. Duh, it's going to go this high.
And honestly, I kind of laughed at that too because it goes with the whole distance report thing. Because I remember a couple years ago where DJ hit I don't know, a 350-yard 2-iron or whatever. Well, yeah, at 8,000 feet elevation or altitude.
Yep. There's
Yeah,
always one part of the
I mean,
equation just left out a little bit. But
or I like how they put it was, I don't know, 200 yards, and then with the factor of the altitude, you had it was say maybe 200 yards, say 150 or whatever, and then it was downhill, so they adjusted it. Actually played 120 or whatever the number was.
yeah.
The guy was actually playing 120, but you know how media likes to do. Oh, this guy just hit a pitching wedge 200 yards. Wow, there's a problem. No, there's no problem. It's that guy actually hit his standard club. It's just the numbers are a little fluctuated.
Yeah, but it's fun to see. Like I said, the distance, while they do hit it a long ways down there, is kind of reined in by how tight that course is. So it was really fun to see. It was an awesome tournament. I know I was sitting in front of my couch. There was so many lead changes coming down the stretch. Patrick Reed making like a 25-footer on 17 to take the lead. You want to talk about stones on some guy that's in a pressure-packed situation. It was really cool to see. My favorite part of the whole tournament was actually not just the golf itself, but after the tournament was over, DeChambeau, who ended up kind of blowing it down the stretch and just not playing very well, went up and congratulated Patrick Reed. And the mics kind of caught him saying, hey, man, I know how you feel. We're in this together. And he was asked about that afterwards, saying kind of, what did you mean by that? And he basically said and stood up for both him and Patrick Reed, saying, we are probably the two most scrutinized guys out here on tour when it comes to Bryson with his scientific analysis and slow play and what, you have it with him. The book seems to be endless on Bryson. And then the most recent, allegations, or you have it with Reed, especially with the Costas interview. DeChambeau was basically saying, hey, I just wanted him to let him know that I appreciate how much of a competitor he is in the times of, most scrutiny, because I've been there, I am there, we're always there. So it was a kind of neat little insight to know that, like, yes, these guys do pay attention to social media. They pay attention to the posts and the articles that are going out there. And, I think it goes a long way in saying, because they're pros doesn't mean they don't listen. It doesn't mean they block it all out. They're just better at doing what they do while listening to all the critics.
Yeah, I agree there. And I mean, now that people are growing up and moving in, you're getting those players. Majority of those players are on relatively our age and even younger, so they're in the social media game already. So they're definitely going to be. They have their Twitter accounts. They have Instagram accounts. They're on their phones at night before they go to bed messing around. They're on it. They're definitely seeing the news. So yeah, but sometimes I just think you always got to have a villain, someone to root up against. So those guys are definitely it seems like their names are in the paper a little bit more. So you got guys trying to point the finger a little bit. You gotta root against somebody because a lot of the camaraderie on tour seems like it's pretty good with everybody because everybody's talking about how everybody's boys with each other and all that. There's really not much, that guy sucks, I can't stand that guy or whatnot. There probably is, but we don't really see it. So
I'd say it's few and far between if there ever is that case, just the way you see these guys get together. And even when it's like the President's Cup, when it's internationals versus Americans, and you kind of see these guys hanging out after their matches are done, and like, yeah, they're cutthroat during the match, but they're talking to each other after the rounds and this, that, and the other. And it's like, I think the PGA Tour is just a fraternity kind of in the way these guys travel to the same events a majority of the year. They're in and around each other enough to, yeah, you're going to have your few bad apples, but a lot of these guys probably do end up being really good buddies outside of the golf course, and wanting to, hang out or at least be in each other's company and don't mind it as much as someone who they might hate.
Yeah. It's almost like Patrick Reed. That was kind of almost icing on the cake for him, or must like a big FU to all the fans that are just drilling him for, whatever's going on. But
every time
I mean,
every time he wins, they're like, him and Kessler are just going back into the back room or whatever and just like giving a big FU to all the haters. And that's just every putt down the stretch when Patrick Reed is in contention, I feel like he just wants to hold up a big old middle finger to everyone in the crowd and say, yeah, how about that? Take that. And it just fuels this guy, man. It just fuels him. It's awesome. I love it.
And that, yeah, exactly. Because you look at that, I mean, he's very quiet and kind of keeps his personal life out of the media's hands, which is good. If you want to kind of stay, leave me alone so I can actually live a decent life. But yeah, you're just keep, and like you said, I think if they're going to keep yelling at him or keep heckling him or whatnot, you're just fueling his fire, and he's just going to do whatever. That's just going to make him better. So,
yeah, and
he got it done, man. I mean, his swing's sick, and I'll give it to him. And I love watching him swing because it's just so effortless and it just seems so pain-free.
You want to talk about when coming in clutch, like the clutch factor, and just you want to talk about guys who perform down the stretch and maybe falter. There's not too many times, especially when the scrutiny becomes this, like when Patrick Reed becomes the story and the scrutiny just gets higher and higher. It seems like coming down the stretch in tournaments where Patrick Reed was the story a week or two before, he just performs better. You look at the President's Cup, and yes, he struggled early. Then his caddy punches a fan, and all of a sudden it lights this fire under Reed, and he wins like 7-2 or something like that. And then you come to this week, and just the talk and the buzz around Bahamas, and then the Costas story, and they ask him about that, and no comment. It's just like, why do you piss this? Like, it's like they want to see him win because the more they piss him off, the better he plays. And I love it because, like you said, it's fantastic for headlines. It's great for golf. Golf needs a villain. And if Patrick Reed can be a good, one headliner a year in which he pisses off the golf world, I think it's great for everyone because he'll play better. The golf world will have their stories and their villain. And I think he's around to stay for at least another 5 years. I guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that he's not going away anytime soon. So to anybody that really can't stand him, you're looking at another couple of 5 to 10 years maybe of him in the spotlight. So
now you want to talk about, I'm going to flip the script on you, a guy that I think everyone wants to stay around for a very long time. Your most recent winner on the PGA Tour event. So the WGC, while it is a PGA sanctioned event, it's a WGC top 50 in the world qualify. They still had, the PGA Tour had an event this week for, the rest of the guys on tour who didn't qualify. And Victor Hovland took that championship home. Now you want to talk about a kid who's been rising on the golf scene for a very long time. Low amateur at the US Open. I think he was close to US amateur, or he was the U.S. amateur champion 2 years ago, low amateur runner-up at the Masters. I mean, a kid with just an insane amount of upside that's been knocking the door. Played at OK State with Matt Wolff. So Matt Wolff got that, first-year PGA Tour win. And so he took this home this weekend in a rain-soaked Puerto Rican Open. Made an absolute bomb that if it didn't hit the hole, it was going 30 feet past. Like, just an awesome story, awesome way to win. I'd love to run a putt in like that for a W on tour with absolute gusto,
One thing I got to tell my man, Victor Hovland. And I think he just needs to get a little bit more comfortable in front of the cameras and they ask him on the spot questions because he freezes up and I don't think he knows what to say.
So I actually loved it. They asked
Oh, it's
him,
great. Don't
they
get me
asked him
wrong.
how he played or what he thought he could have done better, and he goes, "Oh, my chipping sucks." Like he's just froze, and I'm like, that soundbite right there will be the most relatable soundbite of 2020 between us normal golfers, because Victor, we don't know how to chip either.
And that's what's great too. Like you were saying, how it's really good because he's just being natural. Granted, if he did freeze up, but he's not putting on a different face and giving everybody what they should hear or this is what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. So, hey, I suck at chipping too. So, and that's what it goes back to, what the AMs and the pros is. That's exactly what makes golf so great, is that you have something you can relate with the pros. There's always something relatable when you see something that they do it's usually on a mess up, because listen, we're not perfect as amateurs. So it's nice to hear that, where they're like, yeah, I struggle too. No one masters this.
No way, no how. And, we'll allude to that a little later as we talk to our up and coming guest here, Brice Butler. So for those of you who don't know, we'll introduce him here in a bit and get to kind of his love for the game on and off the football field. He's a veteran, I would say, in the NFL, playing for about the last 7 years. And definitely, he said he's looking into a free agency position here going into 2020. So we're not quite sure where he'll land yet, but for our Philly fans, Dante and Isaiah, we're sure hoping he Eagles fly right up on home to Philly. And
hell yeah, man! Bring him out to the courses. Bring him out to the deer. Let's go.
Hey, we'll petition as hard as we can to get him up in the northeastern section of the United States, and hopefully not too far, and he doesn't land up in the Patriot town,
Oh, God.
But yeah, I think this weekend was just a fun time for golf. It was must-watch TV, which was, we talked about it in weeks past. Sometimes golf is just, put yourself to sleep TV. So it was nice and refreshing golf to watch, while I only really caught Saturday afternoon and a little bit of Sunday towards the end, but it was great golf to watch. So looking forward to next week at the Honda Classic. And then my favorite, I think, tour event outside of the majors the week after that, the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. Always a classic tournament. Guys go far above and beyond what they normally do as far as honoring the king, Arnold Palmer, whether how they dress or, just little nods to him throughout the week. So that's always fun for me to see. And I think my favorite competition throughout the year. So yeah, guys, really appreciate you guys tuning in for this interview. We had fun interviewing Brice and getting his story of how he got into the game, some of the cool trends within the golf game, and where he wants to see the game head, in the next decade or so, and how he's helping children that might not have the means of access of getting into the game, how he's helping them pick up a club and get interested in this beautiful game we call golf. So that's it for us this week, guys. We'll be back on Thursday with another fun interview that you guys won't want to miss. So if you guys want to check us out or interact with us after this interview is over, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you thought of Brice and everything he had to say at Enjoy the Walk Pod. So for those of you who currently, followed us before, we did change our Instagram handle. It is now Enjoy the Walk Pod on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow us on Facebook as well at the Enjoy the Walk Podcast. And as always, pick up some new merch. We release new t-shirts. We have a sticker and coaster pack that you guys can pick up for like $5, super cheap, free shipping. So check us out. Please interact with us. We love hearing your thoughts, your stories, your tags from where you're playing golf. So just feel free to tag us and interact, guys. We love mucking it up and being the people's podcast. So without further ado, we'll get into Brice Butler. And as always, guys, enjoy the walk. Welcome back to the Enjoy the Walk podcast, guys. We have an awesome guest joining us, a 7-year veteran out of the NFL, spent time with the Oakland Raiders, most recently the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins, a wide receiver, an absolute golf guru in his own right. Brice Butler, thanks for joining us this week, man. How's it going?
Thank you guys for having me. It's been good, man. Just got back from a long week of playing golf in Vegas, and with all the fight festivities going on there. Believe it or not, it's my first time in Vegas, so I'm just trying to recharge the batteries a little bit so I can have a good week this week.
There's always something about Vegas that just no matter what you do, who you are, it leaves you a little empty in the tank after time spent there.
For sure. I see it now, yeah. We didn't even go out and party or any of that. It was just like hanging out around the casino and just being up late and getting up early and just doing it 2 days in a row. So, yeah, I guess
you said you were there for the fight a little bit. Did you have Fury or Wilder in that one?
What's funny? I had been watching all the shows, like the ESPN shows that led up to the fight, and I thought Fury was like a little bit more focused than Deontay. But when I got to Vegas, I don't know if it was the oxygen in the air, but like I bet on Wilder, and it was like as soon as like round one started, I was like, I don't think I should have put my money on this guy. I was like, I don't think I should have put my money on this guy. And then because I saw the first fight, and I knew that pretty much the whole fight Fury, controlled it. And I don't know why I thought that Deontay Wilder was going to knock this guy out. I don't know why, but I lost some money. So thank you guys. Thank you, Deontay Wilder.
Man owes you a nice bottle of wine or something down the road, right?
He owes me like one of those crazy masks or something that he likes to wear.
That's awesome. That's we were all tuned in here as well, and it was kind of shocking just to see a fight dominated so one-handed, heavily sided from Fury's perspective. That was unexpected from two juggernauts.
Yeah, it was dominated. I think one guy didn't have conditioning or something. Yeah,
something looked off. There's no doubt about it. But nah, man, I'd love to get into you a little bit and just kind of your background of, Zach Bates kind of put you on our radar. So, quick shout out to him for reaching out for us and getting us connected. But he told us you're a golf nut, and we'd love to know maybe where you picked up the game in the first place and what's led you down the road of continuing to play as much as you do today.
Well, my dad used to play. He wasn't like an avid golfer like myself, but when me and my brothers were younger, he used to try to take us out to play, and I tried to do everything that my dad did. He played football. I'm the only one out of the 4 of us brothers that play football, so yeah, he took us to play golf a lot. So I love to go play. And so, yeah, like I used to play as a kid a lot. I wouldn't say I was like good or anything. I just enjoyed to play the game. And then when I got to the pros, I hadn't played in college because I didn't have a set of clubs or anything. But when I got to the pros, I really wanted to play my first 2 seasons, but I couldn't because I hurt my shoulders. I got shoulder surgery on both labrums, my rookie season and my second season. And so as soon as I got traded to Dallas, my 3rd season, my shoulders were healthy. Dallas was a little bit more of an avid golf city than I would say the Bay Area is, or to my knowledge was at the time. And so I bought a set of clubs and started swinging at the ball. And that was 2016, and we're here now, still trying to become a single-digit handicap.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have a couple notes here that the last list Golf Digest put out, you were on their top 50 of professionals, outside of the game of golf that play the game and have a pretty good handicap. You're listed at a 12. Is that something you've been able to crunch down to close to a 10, or are you working to get down to that single digit still?
Oh, that's kind of dope. I didn't even know they had that up. But no, ever since I kept the handicap, I've been under a 12. it was funny because I thought I would be like a 15 or 16 because I thought handicap was pretty much just like whatever your average score is per round or however many bogeys you average around was like your handicap. That's what I thought it was. So if people asked me what my handicap was, I would say, oh, it's like an 18 because I had pretty much average, bogey golf. And people would look at me like, oh, I'm not playing with you, or I'm not playing with you. And I was like, why? And they're like, your handicap's not low enough. And then once I finally started keeping up with my, my GHIN or GHIN or however you pronounce it, I was like a 10.7. And then I got it down to like an 8.9 at a point. And now it's back with the new rules and stuff. It's back to a 10, like a 10.2, I think.
Yeah, I feel like the whole golfing industry saw their handicap go up a few strokes, whether it's, a couple of the single-digit handicappers went from about a 4 to a 7 or something like that. So there definitely might be some sandbagging going on in those men's leagues this year.
Yeah, I'm at 10.4 right now on the list. My lowest on here says 9.7. Yeah, I don't mind sitting right there because if my game is like where it is right now, I'm gonna win a lot. People are gonna think I'm sandbagging, but I'm actually not. But
you're talking winning a little bit. Are you an on-course betting kind of guy? You like to get a couple strokes your direction during a good match?
Well, like the guys I played with in Arizona, like Patrick Peterson, Andre Roberts, Kyle Fuller, and Larry Fitzgerald, those type of guys, they like to bet. So, and they beat me primarily most of the time. Yesterday was one of those days where I beat all of the guys that I bet, and I was like really happy. And I was like, this is, I think, the first time in history that I won every single golf bet I've had. So I was really happy leaving Shadow Creek yesterday. But yeah, I like to bet. And with me being at 10.4, typically the guys I play with are lower than me, so I'm pretty much getting strokes most of the time. But I tell guys, I don't know if you're gonna ask this question at some point, but like the weakest point of my game is getting off the tee with like woods, predominantly my driver. And so like I had just been like seeing my coach James O recently in Long Beach, California. Shout out to James O. And we had like kind of hunkered down on the driver. And so this past week I was like hitting the ball great off the tee. So like my scores were where I wanted them to be, where I see myself scoring if everything's kind of like on point. And so I went down there and I was going to work in Vegas.
I've been down that road before with the driver, man. At one point I took it out of the bag and then got like a mini driver or just hit my 3-wood off the tee because I noticed my 3-wood was just going as far as my driver. So I said, F this driver, I'm putting this out because that thing was going in the trees. And then, I don't know, something happened where I just said, screw it. My friends were like, dude, you need to just start pulling the driver back out. I don't know what happened, but figured something out.
Right, exactly. I mean, with me, it's like, I guess the relationship of every other club in my bag versus the driver is different. Like, my 3-wood on down to my gap wedge or lob wedge, I hit down on the ball. I hit down and I don't get penalized for it. But something in that driver swing that makes me like want to open my shoulders too soon because I have to hit up on it. It makes me push the ball. Like I block and then, I'm hitting the heel of the club in an open face and I'm blocking them right, push fading it. It's the worst shot in golf. Like it makes me want to throw up.
It's funny you mentioned that, man. My best friend who I play golf with down here in the Eastern Shore, Maryland area, for the longest time, I had moved down here about 3 or 4 years ago. The kid would not carry a driver. He just refused to have that swing in his bag because it was the same exact ball flight you just described. And he's like, I would rather snap hook something far and long that would just run forever every day than watch this weak little fade just dribble out there and get myself in trouble.
Yes, I agree. Like I can hit a snap hook and I'll smile and be like, I'm glad I saw that. And they'll be like, that's a bad shot. I'll be like, I would rather see that 10 out of 10 times than that freaking high right ball that just goes out to the freeway and hits a car. Like, I never want to see that. I hate that shot.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that shot.
If I'm going to be hitting slices, it better be Bubba Watson slices, and that thing better be going 320 and just whipping around trees. Other than that, no thanks.
I'm not calling you out, Dante, but I've never seen you hit a slice 320.
Should have seen me in my 18 handicap days. 100 yards straight.
Maybe a little
220,
help, huh?
220, right? Little trees, some cart path action, you name it.
That's funny.
Brice, you mentioned a little bit you were playing with the likes of Fitzgerald and Fuller and those guys. I got to ask you, who's your favorite non-golfer to take money off of on the golf course?
My favorite non-golfer to take money off of. Honestly, it would have to be Larry Fitzgerald, because he's a fellow receiver. He's a guy that I looked up to as a young kid, and on the course, he just has like this like moxie about him that like when he beats you, he'll let you know it. Like he subtle jabs at you and stuff like that. But then when you finally win, like he won't say a word, and it's like, yeah, like I finally got you, dog. Like the other guys, I mean, they don't really. I mean, for all of us, it's all fun and games. Like we don't really care. But the other ones don't really say much. But like Larry like says stuff all the time. So like if you get Larry, it's like, yeah, dog, feel that. I got you.
I love that answer because with his success at the Pebble Beach ProAm and stuff like that, there's just got to be a little extra, swagger when you walk off the golf course, man. Like being like, I got the guy that just won the Pebble Beach ProAm twice. Like he's had some success with inside the ropes, and I just got that guy.
Yeah, right. He can play. But honestly, like in our group of guys, he's not even the best player. Patrick Peterson's the best player, the better player.
Oh wow,
that's like really good.
That's some
but I mean, obviously,
for us. I don't think either of us knew that.
Pat is a better player, and we have other guys that are better than both of those guys that we play with. But yes, obviously, Larry does his thing when he goes to these ProAms because he's won the biggest one twice with the same guy, the same partner, I think. So. He's doing something right over there, man. And Pebble Beach. I mean, they play Pebble Beach a lot. Like those guys go up there, fly out early one morning, land there, play 36, and then fly back. Like they do that a lot. So like I'm pretty sure Larry plays Pebble Beach more than most of those players that actually play that tournament.
Sure. More than the pros themselves, huh?
Yeah, like I'm serious because I mean I don't know, the pros are just like going to fly to just go play Pebble Beach just for fun. Like I don't see them doing stuff like that. So like, unless they were like on a trip and they were just hanging out in Monterey or something. But most of those guys, they're where they're at. Ricky and them, they're down in South Florida, Rory, South Florida, and they play like, in Jupiter all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we're on this side, so I think one of the best courses out on this side of the United States, is definitely Pebble Beach and Cypress, and they go up there a lot. They play there. I think we're going to Pebble soon. Like they were talking about it yesterday. So I haven't played there. I haven't played that course. I played Spanish and Spyglass, which were dope, but I shouldn't have played them. Like when I played them, my game was like. It was like in 2017, so I was like brand new to the game. So like I didn't even really deserve to be on those golf courses.
Well, and that's funny you mentioned that because I feel like I've been lucky enough. I have been out to both Pebble and Spyglass, and Spyglass is tougher. I think both the courses you played are actually a little tougher than Pebble Beach. I mean, you get a little stretch of holes along the water where Pebble Beach can kind of rear its head if it's windy and nasty out. But Spyglass, I think, is definitely the tougher of the two. So you definitely got the short end of the stick going out there, just introducing yourself to the Northwest Coast with Spyglass and Spanish.
I didn't know that. I know they're all like short courses per se. But I didn't know Spyglass was harder. Man, I shouldn't have played Spyglass.
I mean, personal opinion, it might not truly be harder, but just a quick observation on my end of things. I got my butt whooped by Spyglass.
Really? I just remember Spyglass was like super dope because like one like was kind of similar to 10 at Augusta, but except for the fact that you added the Pacific Ocean to it.
Yeah, it's
If
almost
I
exactly.
remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that big dog leg left down the hill.
Yep.
You ever just think like, as for me too, like I've gone on golf trips where, you know, I was worse than I am now. And, you know, I want to play, I kind of want to go back and just think about how would I play these courses now if I was at the skill level I'm at now than I was back then on the trips I went to. Because it always, that eats me up in the back of my head because I kind of want to relive those golf trips. Because sometimes you go on these golf trips and you know, people are paying all X amount of money, or, you know, they're going to these fancy places, it's pristine conditions. And, you know, you always want to play well when you go to like these nice courses and whatnot, but then you always go and then you struggle. But then as you progress and you play throughout the years, you get better and better and better. And then you, in the back of my mind, this is for me, I don't know about you, you think, man, how would I play that course if I were to go back to that course and play that, you know?
Yeah, facts. I totally agree. Like,
Yeah.
Spanish Bay and Spyglass.
Yeah,
I know
right.
I would break 90. I know I would break 90 if I played there now. Like, I know I would. Like, no question. But when I went the first time, I wasn't even breaking 100 there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know?
And that's the best feeling on those trips is just being able to like post a number, even if you're on like a 2 or 3 day trip. If you get one round to like post a solid number, you feel so like happy with just the entire trip.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's how I felt yesterday at Shadow. It was like a tale of, well, it wasn't a tale of two nines. I call them halves, but yesterday, throughout the whole round, I like struck the ball, I think the best and the most consistently that I think I ever have done in like a full 18. Like, I think I probably hit like 13 out of 14 of those greens in regulation. But the problem was on the front 9, I had like, I shouldn't be saying this on air, but I had like 2 4-putts and I had like 2 3-putts. So like the first hole, I was on in 2, I 3-putted for a bogey. The second hole, I was on in 2, and I 4-putted for a double bogey. The third hole, I was on in 2, I 4-putted for a double bogey. And like, my caddy was like, man, like, you know, like yesterday you were putting so much better. And I was like, well, yesterday it was wet because it rained all day. So like, you know, the greens were definitely not this fast. And I'm putting it with the same mental thought of like, you know, the same power will work. And I'm blowing past the hole like 10 feet. And I'm blowing past the hole again, you know, thinking I'm tapping the ball, but I'm blowing past the hole. So like the first like 4 holes, like I kid you not, like I think I had like 14 putts. And I was like, and I didn't get mad. I was like, I'm not gonna get mad because I know that I'm hitting greens. And I was like, I'm going to figure out the putting. At some point, I'm going to figure out the putting, and I'm going to go low on the back 9, and I'm going to win all my bets. And that's what I told him. So I kept a good attitude. And so I went 47 on the front 9, and I shot a 39 on the back 9. So I shot an 86. But
that's golfing your ball on the back 9, though.
Yeah.
Right. But like, I was golfing in the front, but I just couldn't make putts. So like, I was like, man, if I could have just 2-putted, you know, some of those, you know, triple putt or, you know, 4-putt, I would have shot like a 79
without blinking an
eye.
Know? Yep, so just a couple putts.
That's what it always boils down to. That's why we love the game so much, you know, because I can sit there and go like, dang, like if I go back and play this tomorrow, I'll putt better, right? But then like the next day, I might actually not hit the ball as good, but I'll be 1-putting everything, so I'll be scrambling all day. Like it's just the cycle of the game, man. It's crazy. That's why
it is hilarious, and I know Dante can speak to this too. We've played a lot of rounds together, and it's funny. It's like you go back, like you said, and one day can't miss a putt, but man, you couldn't hit an iron to save your life, and then you go back and the irons you might as well just not brought them the next day, but you know, and then you can't hit a drive or something. It just, nothing seems to piece it together. And I think that's what, when you look at the guys on tour, you know, or guys chasing it, even that are putting these 8 or 9 unders together to Monday qualify and stuff like that. It's like, and then they're bringing it for the whole week next week. It's like, that's what's impressive about these guys, is how they can just consistently bring it time and time again on the golf course.
Right, exactly. That's what separates the men from the boys.
Yeah, ain't
Those
that,
guys are really
ain't that
good.
the truth?
There's no doubt about it.
Right.
Now you spent a little time in Dallas, and you mentioned to it there's a really good golf scene kind of in the Texas area, and then in Miami a little bit. Did you get to play at all in Dallas? Like you said, you started a little in 2017. Did you find a favorite golf course in the Dallas area?
I started playing there at 16. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good courses there. What was my favorite? Okay, so I'm a Club Corps member, right? A golf, Club Corps, whatever. I'm a golf member, the Club Corps down there in Dallas, and they had like 25 different courses that I could play basically for the price of my membership fees per month. And they had a lot of nice courses, like TBC Craig Ranch was one of them. There's a really nice link style course called Stonebridge Ranch that's up in McKinney near TBC Craig Ranch. That was really good and tough. Had like really nice fish too. It made you feel like you was in Wisconsin. And then like there's other courses that aren't on Club Corps, like is it Dallas National? What's that course down in the middle of Dallas that Tony Romo? I played Trinity Forest. I didn't really care too much for that course. I never played is it TPC, where they used to have the Byron Nelson at? Is it Four Seasons? No. It's in Dallas. No, it's not the TBC San Antonio. It's in Dallas, where they used to have the Byron Nelson. I forgot the name of it. It's at the Four Seasons Hotel. I never played that one. When the name comes up to me, like, I don't remember it. But
yeah, all I can think of is Trinity Forest, where they currently have it. But you're right, they moved venues Trinity not too long ago.
Let me look it up while I'm on the phone. But there's another course that was there. I think it's called Dallas National, and it was nice, but it was like really hard. But I think I probably would play better. Yeah, it's Dallas National.
Dallas National. Okay. I wasn't sure if it sounded right, and I knew you'd find it.
Yeah, Dallas National's tough, but it's like awesome. A really nice course.
Now, you mentioned Club Corps a little bit there. Walk us through like what being a member at Club Corps is, because I think a lot of our listeners would maybe love to hear about that, because it's not something we hear a lot about, at least down on the Eastern Shore of Maryland here. And like, I think there's some courses up in the DC area maybe, but I feel like as you get out more West Coast and like, central, more of the flyover states, you get into a lot of the Club Corps courses. And I'd like for you to touch on maybe like what being a member of Club Corps kind of gets you.
Club Corps is, well, okay, so say, I live in Texas, Dallas still, right? And I become a member at a club, the club called Clubs of Prestonwood, right? And so like when you go, you become a member at that club specifically, but it's under an umbrella or network of other championship golf courses that have clubs that are just golf clubs or country clubs. And depending on the membership that you get, you can go play that network of golf courses for no extra charge. Like you might just have to pay the cart fee if you're riding a cart. If you ride a cart or if you walk, I know this is Enjoy the Walk podcast here. You don't have to pay. So like I can go play anywhere that has a Club Corps course for pretty much nothing. All I have to do is just call in and say, hey, I'm Brice Butler. This is my membership number. I want to come play your course. Do you guys have 2 times? And if they do, I'm there. And so being in Dallas, when I travel back to Dallas, we're actually going back this weekend. when you're in Dallas, it's like awesome, or Atlanta, it's great because there's like 20 golf courses, club court golf courses in the Dallas area because that's where the headquarters are. And like in Houston, there's a lot in Houston. And then like you go to Atlanta, there's a lot in Atlanta. And then up there by you guys, there's a couple in Maryland. Like there's one, well, I mean, they're spread out, but there's one in like Rockville or Towson,
Oh yeah,
Maryland. And there's
Towson,
another
Maryland.
one in like,
Okay.
there's another one near Rockville or Olney. I'm looking at it right now because I have the app on my phone. So. I mean,
cool.
there's a couple in Delaware and stuff like that. There's a couple in Ohio. I mean, there's a good amount of places. There's some states that don't have them, but there's some that are.
I knew there was like a really big focus on like your bigger cities, like you said, Dallas and, Atlanta and stuff like that. I know even getting out even towards like a couple of our friends we met down at the PGA show who are from the Utah area. We're Club Core members. And I just wanted to, give our listeners an idea for what it was all about. Cause I think it's just such a cool opportunity to play really, really nice championship style golf courses for kind of one like flat rate, I guess you would say, as opposed to just being a member at one place and being stuck within your own membership. So I definitely advise our listeners to check it out because I think it's a really cool opportunity. And like you said, if you walk like in a true enjoy the walk style, you would be able to play for free at a bunch of different golf courses with one flat rate.
Exactly.
So it's a pretty
kind
neat membership.
Kind of like a pay for one, get how many other, kind of buy one get one. And it's because that's how my course is. I belong to a course down in New Jersey, Running Dairy Golf Course, and you've probably heard the name. It's Ron Jaworski owned, but he also has like 6-7 other courses in the area that are also associated with it. So if they're booked up or you just want to switch things up, you just call up the other course, you just show up. If you're taking a cart, pay the cart fee. If not, they pretty much allow walking, and then you just hop on out there and you're good to go.
Right, exactly.
That's pretty
sick.
I
mean, it's great when you can do that, man. I mean, rather than having to ask for a hookup from like a friend or something like that. So it's always good to be able to
Heck
take
yeah.
off.
Now, speaking of hookups, I have to ask because we've seen on a little couple social media posts, you've been able to get in Augusta National and take some time in at the Masters. How did you get in there and what was your experience like walking up and down the pristine conditions out there at Augusta?
Oh, man, Augusta's like heaven for golf courses. Yeah, I've been a couple times. I went in 17, the year that Sergio won, and then I also went in 19 this past year when Tiger came back and got his W. The first year, it was like crazy. Like I was scheduled to travel to Jacksonville with my uncle who lives in Dallas to play golf at Sawgrass with him. And I don't remember what happened. This is when I was still in Dallas. I don't remember what happened, but I kind of was just like, man, I don't really feel like going down there, And at that point, my game wasn't where it is now. And I just remember being like, I don't want to go to TBC Sawgrass and play bad and shoot like 100. It's gonna ruin like the trip, And so I kind of was like mentally backing out. Like I don't really want to go down there. Let me wait. And then I remember I think it was like the Sunday, that was leading into the Masters. I got a call from my buddy who worked for Nike Golf at the time. And he was like, bro, you want to come to the Masters this week? And I was like, yeah, but how? And he was like, bro, Nike Golf is doing a thing. They're inviting he was like, me, Sean Mato, Bernard Lagat, he's a cross-country runner or a long-distance sprinter, or not sprinter, a long-distance runner, and then Sean Mato, who's a pro skateboarder. They're like, we want to invite you three guys out. We have cottages at Sage Valley Country Club down in Aiken, South Carolina, which is pristine as well. And they're like, we'll pay for everything. You just have to say if you want to come or not. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I came yesterday before you even invited me. I was like, are you kidding me? Let's go. Book it. Let's go. And I didn't even
is there an
it was
option to say no to a Masters invite?
Yeah, there's no option. So like I remember he was like, I mean, just talk to your wife. Or I was like, I'm not talking to her. I was like, I'm telling her I'm going. Like I'm not asking her if I can go to the Masters. I was like, I'm going. I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. Just tell me my flight. And so I remember that week I had to be my teammate Tyrone Crawford is from Canada, and he had a football camp for youth up in his hometown of Windsor, Canada, or Windsor, Ontario. Like that weekend, I had to leave like on Friday, so I was like, I'm gonna come down there for like 2 days. I'll stay like Tuesday and Wednesday, fly back Wednesday, be in Dallas for a couple of days, and then fly back out to go to Canada on Friday. And long story short, I was like, I canceled my flight to come back home. I was like, man, I don't want to leave yet. I at least need one more day. And then the day I was supposed to fly home, it was like bad weather. So long story short, I stayed the whole week. But I left Friday. So I stayed, I think either Monday or Tuesday through Friday. And then I flew from Atlanta to Canada for the camp. And I remember like my wife was mad at me because she was like, you were going the whole week. You were supposed to just be going for like a day. And I just remember being like, it was the Masters. You get over it,
There seems to be a globally accepted answer for why you missed something or why you didn't pay attention to something come Masters week across the entire sports universe. And it's because the Masters.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, yeah, like definitely. Like, I didn't even care. I was like, I'm going. Don't care if you don't want me to go. I'm going. This is the Masters. Like, I'm from Georgia, and like my dad's been living in Atlanta since 1980, and he had never gotten a shot to go to the Masters until, well, I'm not going to say he never had a shot, because if he really wanted to go, he probably would have made it a way down there, but he just never went until I took him last year to see Tiger. So that was like sick.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I took him on Sunday. So I took my wife on Saturday. So last year, my anniversary comes typically during that week. So my anniversary is April 13th. And so this year we spent our anniversary in Augusta.
Nice.
And like, a lot of my buddies are like, you better, like, they were like, man, she must be, like, you better do something really nice for her, like, when you come back, because, like, she's going to spend, like, your anniversary at a golf course. I was like, yeah, we are, but, like, when she gets there, she's going to appreciate it, and she's going to like it. Like, I was like, right now, she's kind of, like, reluctant, but, like, when she was there, she was like, okay, yeah, like, this place is, like, really cool. Like, if anybody likes golf, she was like, they have to come here if they can, like, because that place is, like, sick.
Yeah, and I heard a lot, too, that pictures and TV just doesn't do it justice. It's just
no.
Especially I know TV says the elevation just doesn't even show the true elevation of the course.
Right. So I'm guessing you guys haven't been.
No,
we have not.
Okay, so yeah, guys, like that was the thing that was the first thing that shocked me when I first walked through. I guess you would say the gates to get like on the course, on hole number 1. Like, it feels like when you first walk by that huge scoreboard, you feel like you're in Jurassic Park. Like, if there was really dinosaurs on Earth, they would live at Augusta. They would live at Augusta National. Like, the way it looks, like, it's hard to explain. When you get there, you will always remember what I just said to you. You're going to be like, okay, now I understand what Brice meant when he said this feels like Jurassic Park.
I hope you've just cemented yourself into me, probably Dante, and all of our listeners, absolute brain, like, mind roll the first time any of us walk into Augusta. We're going to be like, yeah, it's Jurassic Park, freaking Brice Butler, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just waiting for a pterodactyl to fly, like, through these trees. Like, it's crazy. I'm telling you, man. Like, how big and vast and open and hairy it is with those huge Georgia pine trees. Like, I mean, that place is magical, man. It's sick. Like it's perfectly green. It seems like nothing's out of place, especially if it doesn't rain and like it gets muddy where the foot traffic is. Like nothing is out of place. Like the green is like perfect. It seems like they like, you know how like black people, like we pick our hair if we have a lot of hair. Like it seems like they pick the grass up so it stands straight. Like that's how like
you're talking to two white guys. Unfortunately, I have no clue what the hell you're talking about. But I believe you.
And I'm bald, so it's just game over.
You definitely don't have a comb at the house with the balls.
No, I threw that out. I threw the hair products out. I said, you know what? I said, you know, it's time for a change. It's gone. And
the only thing we might be grooming is a little beard hair. Other than that, we're pretty scotch free.
That's funny.
So what's your favorite thing on the food menu then?
There?
Yeah.
My favorite thing there, man, is the oatmeal raisin cookies.
Okay.
Like I think I bought 24 this past year. I think I bought like more than 20 this year.
Okay.
Like, cause they're like a hot commodity. Like some of the like concession areas, like they sell out. They don't have them. You have to like go to another one like to find them. Like they're that good, dude. Like they have a lot of great things. Like I don't mess with the pimento cheese. The chicken sandwiches are really good in the morning. The barbecue sandwiches that they have are really good because they're hot. The only review that I would give the chicken sandwich is that I wish it was cold. They're cold. I mean, they're hot because they're cold. And if any of you guys know about Chick-fil-A biscuits, like they're fantastic in the morning because they're hot. And the ones that they serve are cold. So it was just like, but they were good, but it was like,
Good, but could have been better.
Right. And then the sweet tea. I mean, and everything that they have on their menu is cheap. So like you'll walk up and you'll just like be grabbing like sandwiches, like 2 barbecue sandwiches, some chips, like a sweet tea, maybe like 2 oatmeal raisin cookies or like an ice cream cookie sandwich. And you'll be thinking like, I need to pull out like a 20 because this is going to cost like $19, if that $25, $30. And they'll hit you with like, oh, that'll be like $8.50. And you're like, what? I got like 6 things. Like it's like cheap. Like it's crazy. It's like cheap. Like they do it right there. It's like old school.
That's the one thing that just blows my mind each and every year is that their prices don't change because as big of a spectacle as they've become in the game and as exclusive as they've become as far as, you know, how tough it is to get tickets and the no cell phone policy and just everything being so kind of just their own show, it blows my mind that they just keep everything so cheap and kind of, you know, it's just for everyone when it comes to concessions because it seems like every other sporting event is just blowing concession prices out of the water.
Right, which is awesome. And the other golf courses around the country need to figure that out because Augusta is the only one that is doing it the right way, in my opinion, with pricing.
We totally
even
agree.
with merchandise.
Yeah. We think there's just a huge push to be made that like there you know, golf been talking a lot lately about what rollback needs to happen in the game. And I think a rollback needs to happen in the prices of how just expensive the game is. Cause in the end all be all, there's so many people that want to play the game, but just don't have the means to play the game. And like, you know, you look at people just within the inner city and it's starting to happen. I feel like there's this push of like making golf cool within inner cities and whether it's the first tee programs or just your niche like brands coming up within different cities that are starting to make golf like not only cheaper and you know the whole like municipal golf mentality, but they're starting to make golf cool again, whether it's in golf fashion, but it's like you're starting to see the masses flock to golf. And I think the one last thing that is just kind of waiting to break that barrier is just the overall price of it all.
Right. I agree. I totally agree. The clothes are expensive. Yeah, the equipment. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
That's awesome. Now, speaking of golf fashion, you know, I've seen you a good bit of times out at Malbon Golf, and I think I'd like to hear a little bit about, you know, how awesome it is to kind of, just be around those kinds of guys in the industry, whether it's Malbon Golf or I think the last time out there you were hanging out and mucking it up with Haley Ledbetter, and just looks like a really fun group of people to be, around when you're in the golf industry. And, maybe you could touch on some of the relationships you have, through just kind of hanging out in that scene.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot, like you were saying, like there's a lot of people that's pushing the boundaries and changing culture a little bit in the community of golf. And, Steven's one of those guys, with his, store / clothing brand / just like culture. Like he's been doing a really good job of trying to merge. I say like the hip hop / like punk kind of culture, or people, community that might be like kind of peeking their head, through the fence on golf. Like, I don't really know. Like, I don't know nobody that plays the game. It seems like it's just like a preppy, kind of like snobby, like, a lot of people like to say like white man's game. Like, I had a lot of teammates, when I started playing golf in Dallas, like a lot of guys used to be like, bro, like, you look like an idiot. Like, why are you wearing those clothes? I'm like, bro, I'm going to play golf. Like, you know what I'm saying? They'll be like, what? And I'll be like, first of all, don't ever talk about my clothes because I dress better than you regardless if I'm wearing golf clothes or regular clothes. Anyways, but I'm like, like, you should try golf. Like, golf is fun. Like, it's a different game. It's very competitive. It's a competitive game within yourself. And like it's unable to be mastered. Like the best player ever, I would say, is Tiger Woods. And he still doesn't always hit the ball down the middle. He makes bogey from time to time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a game that cannot be mastered. Like in basketball, it can be mastered. You can be a LeBron James. You can be a Kobe Bryant. You can be a Michael Jordan. You can be a Kareem. Like, you can be guys like that are like virtually unstoppable. Same with football. Like, well, I mean, Tom Brady's don't really ever happen in football, but like, you could be that in football. Like, there's Jerry's, there's Shannon Sharps, there's Ray Lewis's. Like, there's great players that are like, that transcend the game, right? But typically in golf, like, and like, take Tiger out of the equation, like
It's
the best
it's
player
such an even playing field at that point. Yeah.
yeah, like anybody can win. Like anybody can win every week. Like I guess like the high, like I don't know who has the most wins on tour outside of Tiger right now. Well, not Phil. Like you take away Phil and Tiger, like the next guy up is probably like who? Like Dustin.
I think it's either got to be DJ or maybe Justin Thomas. But I think Dustin's been around a little longer. So in the guise of like
Dustin's older,
29 to 35 or something like that, it's got to be DJ.
Yeah, I think it's DJ. I think it's DJ, and he has like 19 or like in the 20s or something like that, right? So like, and everybody else is sitting at like 10 or 11, like or 8. Like Patrick Reed, I think has 8. And I just saw like something on Instagram today, and there was like a picture, and they were showing the guys with the most wins under 30. And I think like Patrick has 8, DeChambeau has 5, I think Spieth has like 11, Rory's 30 already, so he's out of there. I think JT has the most. I think JT had like 12 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah, that was going to be my other guy, which is Rory, but it's still in no comparison to a Tiger. I mean, it's just absurd, the dominance that Tiger's put on the field.
It's absurd. And then if you say Tiger never existed and Phil did what he did, like he has the same numbers, Phil would be like a god to us, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Well, he is one, but like he gets overshadowed by Tiger because Tiger has like double the amount of wins, but like Phil has a lot of wins too.
Yeah, Phil's sitting there at 44 wins. And he's only number 9 on the list. Everyone above him are just absolute legends. Byron Nelson, Arnold Palmer, Hogan, Nicklaus, and Tiger. Like, it's just when you look at the list, and then you gotta take like 8 or 9, maybe even 10 scrolls till you get someone who's playing in the game today, who's on the list of all-time wins.
Right. So yeah, man, like I always try to tell people, to answer your question, like those guys like Steven and all them are doing a great job because they're bringing other people that wouldn't technically be a part of the game in the game. And you get like a girl like Haley Ledbetter or like a girl like Ashley K. Mayo that work for these companies that are like really cool online. Like they really do a really good job with like the content pushing online to get other people who probably wouldn't really look at golf with like through a certain lens to look through that lens and be like, okay, like this is cool. Like this game is fun. Like I can go out and like I don't have to be good, but I can go out and just have a fun time, you know, with my friends, like or a group of people and play the game. And that community, from what I've seen, has just been nothing but cool, man. Like I mean, I've developed relationships with a lot of those people like really fairly quickly. Like I said, like I just started playing the game of golf again in 2016. It wasn't until like I would say like 2017 where like I started like kind of like reaching out and networking with people. Like I started like a relationship with like TaylorMade first, and then it went to Callaway, and it's still Callaway to this day. And you know, through those guys and some other people, I've been meeting a lot of people. And so like the network of people has just been great, and everybody's been cool, and they always help me if I have questions with, you know, the golf world, because like I said, like I'm new to this game still. I might ask some stupid questions, and they're like, you know, they're more than happy to answer, and you know, they don't make me feel stupid for hitting them up at say like 10 o'clock at night, like, hey, why did this happen in this tournament? Like, what? Can you explain that rule? And they're like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. So like, you know, they're all really cool. All those people are awesome.
You know what? When it comes to golf and just there's so many complexities. There's never any stupid questions, whether it's from the game perspective of learning the rules or just figuring out your swing. There's always questions to be asked about the swing, no matter how well or bad you're hitting it. So I think just like you said, building that golf community of just people you can go to in anyone's realm, whether it's, you know, your perspective or our side of things or someone just picking up the game. I think to know that there's someone to go to is always like the first step to growing the sport, because if you don't have someone to go to, then you're probably just going to hit a plateau, especially in golf. It takes a while to really pick up and master. Then you're probably just going to fizzle out because you don't have that group of people that are constantly either A, bugging you to go play, or B, helping you figure this damn game out.
Right, exactly. You need people in this game to help you for sure. For sure.
So now we absolutely love seeing those kind of initiatives, whether it's people like Malvin Goff and Steve out there, or even I think someone we've kind of interacted with in the past out in the Pacific Northwest area, in Muni Kids. They have kind of this neighborhood golf shop vibe where they even, you know, I think they put what do they put, Dante? They put milk cartons together. They tape up milk cartons and hit them at like milk crates down the road. So they play like a little bit of urban golf, but it's getting kids involved and getting kids to know that, hey, I can pick up a golf club and go swing it and figure this game out off of the stuffy, you know, like you said, the stuffy old white man country club sport, and turn it around into something that's pretty cool and you can pick up, and kids will be like, oh, you aren't the weird golfer.
It's not even like that, you know, higher class, you know, white collar, as they say, country club game anymore, or leisure hobby. I mean, this is an athletic sport now, and I think people are starting to turn their heads that, you know, these guys are training and this is what it is now. It's a sport. So anybody athletic can play it. It's just we need to find a way to be able to get those clubs in their hands.
Right, exactly. And that's what I want to do, man. Like, with my ideas and charities and things that I want to do. Like, I kind of want to. Well, no, I don't kind of want to. Like, I want to be able to bring the game to people that might not be able to take up the sport without any help. Because like we spoke about, the golf game is like really expensive, and there's some people that might want to play, but they just can't because they don't have the means to. And that's one thing that I've been talking to my agent about, like trying to start like a charity or foundation that can help kids that, like I said, aren't so fortunate to be able to afford the game, to be able to bring the game to them. So I think that would be sweet to do.
We're definitely all about that initiative, and I think any way any of us can grow the game, whether it's at the junior level or help middle-aged folks pick it up as a hobby, any way to get people into this game to show them how awesome it is to enjoy, and kind of just yes, it is tough to pick up at first, but it's fun to just get out and figure it out on your own at sometimes too. It's fun to just grind, and but it's also fun to just smack it around with your buddies on any given like Thursday afternoon for 9 holes too. So there's so many different ways to play this game, and I think that's also what's so great about it compared to different sports is you can go out and hit a bucket of balls, or you can go out and play 9, you can go out and play 18, you can go play competitive rounds, you can go play your your member guest at a big on a big buddies trip or something, and there's just so many different ways to get involved in this game. It's one that's truly special, and I think separates itself sometimes between a lot of the other sports out there.
Right, exactly. I agree.
So now before we wrap up, we always kind of ask, I know we touched on a little earlier, some of your lower rounds, but we always ask our guests what their best and worst round was and where it came, if it was any, at a particularly tough course or if it was at, one of your local clubs.
Okay, so I'll start with my worst round. It was at Riviera in 2017. During training camp. So one of my buddies had a connection at Riviera, and I remember on the day off, he was like, "Bro, we're going to play Riviera." I was like, "I'll be there." And man, I probably shot like 120.
I mean, how do you turn down
Like,
Riviera though? That's
mad.
another one of those. You just when the opportunity presents itself, there's no saying no.
No, and then I got caught in the sand trap on, I think, is it 11? The one that you can drive the green and everybody hits it like far left, like past the green left, and they chip up.
That's
like I hit it,
10,
I ended
right?
up hitting in the sand, and I think I hit like 5 or 6 times. I kept hitting it over the green, like on the green, and it will roll back into the other sand trap. On the green, roll back, and I kept doing that, and I was like, "What the?"
It's funny.
So like that was my work.
Every year, a touring pro does the same dang thing, so you can't feel too bad about yourself.
Oh my God. Yep, and that's what I typically know. So like I try to say, well, I saw this guy do it last week, so I ain't gonna be too hard on myself. But yeah, and then my best round was at this course in Alabama called Purcell Farms. Shout out to the Purcell family, and I shot a 78, and I was on best round to date. And I could have shot that this weekend if I could have made some putts, but I didn't.
Those elusive first 4
But I didn't. Yes, exactly. Like that was so bad, man.
Oh, well, it's like you said, man. I think we just kind of end it with this. It's like there's just so many ways, no matter how good you play. Like I feel like even the guys that shoot like 58 on tour and break records are like, yeah, but man, 57 was just right there. If I just made that putt on the 4th hole from 8 feet when it lipped out or something like that. Like there's always 1 or 2 shots every round, no matter how good you play, that you say, well, that could have went in and I could have shot one better. And that's personally the best part about the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's what brings you back. Like the woulda, coulda, shoulda that you have every round. Even if you shoot a good round, you'd be like, well, man, I shot even when I shot a 78, I was super happy. But I remember just being like, man, I missed that one putt that was 3 feet, or I did this, and I could have had this type of round, So there's always more attitude in the game of golf. I think it's more addicting than gambling. So
I would 100% agree.
I agree on that one.
Yeah, it's a real addictive game, and I think everybody who starts the game, they find that golf bug, and they just can't stop playing it. I get so many buddies that are in the NFL space that used to question me playing a game of golf, and be like, why does this guy play so much golf? And then now they call me like, bro, like, what club should I get? Like I've been playing the game all the time. Like, what do you think about this swing? And they'll send me videos. And I'm like, bro, like, that's sick that you're playing, but I'm not really a coach. So I don't know if you really want my pointers. But, so like, it's an awesome game, man. It's addicting. And I hope that I can play it until like my last day on this earth.
Amen. I think we're all the same here. We're golf addicts. We're golf nuts. Like you said, we've been kind of bitten by that bug. And once you get bit, it's I'd say all but near impossible to get away from it. I think it's something that sticks within your blood forever.
For sure.
All right. Well, guys, that was Brice Butler, a little insider into his love for the game and kind of the places it's taken him over the last decade. Brice, we really want to appreciate or thank you for, joining us this evening. And where can everyone find you, whether it's via social media or any kind of internet platform that they can follow along on your journey?
All my social media accounts are my first and last name. So it's BRICE_Butler. So Brice_Butler on Instagram and Twitter. And then I have a website for my brand/foundation, IamFastForever.com. You can go check that out as well.
And recently launched with the I Am Fast Forever, correct?
Yeah, it's been there. But I'm starting to like push forward my ideas. And try to get some traction towards it. So it's been around, but like to everybody else it hasn't. So yeah, in a sense it has been out. It's new. Very
cool. And for those of you who don't know about that, he runs youth football camps through the I Am Fast Forever Foundation. So go follow that, guys. He also runs a golf tournament, it looks like, through that. So definitely give him a follow on both accounts. He's a really good follow, whether it's on or off the football field. So one last thing, I guess I kind of missed over here. You are a free agent. Is there any looks of you definitely finding a home for next season coming up?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely land somewhere. It's hard to know where right now because free agency's not opened up and agents are quote unquote not allowed to talk to teams right now. So right now it's just a waiting game, and then when it opens up next month, we'll kind of have a clearer picture on what's going to happen in the future. Excited.
Well, if you come to Philly, I got some courses we can play.
Let's do it. Philly needs some receivers for sure, so let's do it.
Yep, let's do it.
No doubt. That's the official petition from the Enjoy the Walk podcast to get Brice Butler on the Eagles, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, I want to thank you again for joining us. Really appreciated the time and the talk this evening. I hope our listeners enjoyed that interview. And as always, get out there, carry your clubs if you can, and enjoy the walk. So, Brice, thanks for joining us.
No problem, man. God bless, guys.
Take care.
That's the stuff. One shot at a time.